Hello and welcome to Marketing Margaritas. This is a soundbite episode, so it's just a little shorty one with some recent FAQs that have been thrown around the office lately. So one of the things that's been coming up a lot is LinkedIn. People wanting to know, is LinkedIn worth their time? Should they be using it, etc.? So that's a big, broad topic. So I thought I'd just pick one little thing, which is the LinkedIn relevancy scores. Okay, so LinkedIn is one of my favorite platforms. I think it's really easy to get eyeballs. Everyone's there with a similar mindset. So, when you go onto LinkedIn, you're not thinking about what's, your next holiday going to be, or what dinner you might want to eat that night, or what are your friends up to, or etc. like that. People are there on LinkedIn thinking about work. They're thinking about their career, their business. They're in a professional mindset. And one of my other favorite things about LinkedIn is that it is still so underutilized, which leads back to that first point about it being easy to get eyeballs. So you can be using LinkedIn to reach your business and marketing goals, but maybe you're not into posting. Okay, so there are things that you can do to increase your relevancy score with people, and I'm going to explain what that is in a minute, so that you can still be, if you don't want to be creating and posting content, you can still actually be using it for your marketing by using the relevancy score. Okay, so obviously I would prefer if you were posting. Any original, interesting content that you're putting out there is going to, help give you visibility, strengthen relationships, get you noticed by the right people, potentially lead to doing business with people, keep you top of mind, all that kind of thing. But even if you aren't, you can still get visibility with people who count by utilizing this LinkedIn relevancy score. So, relevancy score means how relevant LinkedIn deems your profile is to someone else's. So for example, if you are connected with someone, so if one of you sends a connection request, then LinkedIn's going to go, oh, okay, obviously you guys have some relevance to each other. And therefore, if one of you does post, the other one is more likely to see it in their newsfeed because you're connected. Than non-connected people. Now, if you engage with each other, this increases the relevancy score. So what that means is that when you actually, do something like comment on someone's content, like it, share it, or even just pause for a moment and read it, then LinkedIn's going to go, oh, not only are you connected, you're actually interested in this person. And more often than not, if they come up in your newsfeed, you're stopping and reading their content and maybe even commenting occasionally. So they're very relevant to you. I want you to stay on LinkedIn and use LinkedIn. Therefore, I'm going to show you more of this person's content because that's what's going to keep you here. So that's how the relevancy score works. A practical example of how this is useful to you though, and not the platform. So say you are going to be targeting a few new clients and you wanted to connect with them on LinkedIn, right? So say you're in insurance for small business or something, and you're like, oh, I've met these people a few times at networking events. I'd really like to bring them over as clients. But you're not sort of connected enough to just kind of go, hey, can I come around with a sales proposal? So you can connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a request, personalize it and say, something about, we've met a couple of times at chamber events, was interested in what you were saying, and just wanted to connect with you. From there, you can send them a message. So once they accept your request, that's the first little link for your relevancy score. But then you can send them a message through LinkedIn, and not a generic thing and not a promo and nothing about sales whatsoever. Go for something relevant and interesting to them. So something like, hey, thanks for connecting. I saw this piece of news or this article or this event or something, and it made me think of you in case you're interested. So when you message them, that increases your score with them. Now, if they reply, which if it's not a sales pitch and you're not being generic, you're actually offering value, they're more likely to reply, then that gives you an even stronger relevancy score with that person. And even better, it gives you real engagement with that person, because that's what it's about. Another thing you can do is actually go to their LinkedIn profile, click on their activity section and bookmark it. So if you go to their activities section, that one time they will see that you went and looked at their profile, unless you have that setting turned off. And then, but if you bookmark their activity section, then each time you click on the bookmark, it won't show that you've looked at their stuff, but you'll be able to see what activity they're doing on LinkedIn. So you can see when they like something, if they leave a comment, if they post. And so then you can see what kind of content interests them by what they interact with and what they post, but it also means you can engage with their content. So when you engage with their content, you're going to increase your relevancy score, which means you're more likely to see them, but they're also more likely to see you. So then if you are looking to post, then there is a chance that they'll actually see your content because you've been building up that relevancy score with them. And you want to attract their attention, you already see what kind of things they have been interacting with, and you can post things that will then potentially grab their attention because you know what stuff they've interacted with previously. If you are going to interact with their comment too, liking it or celebrating it, or the heart, like the other reaction stuff are all good. But comments definitely have the strongest weighting. They're also, strongest weighting for the algorithm, but they're also more likely to get noticed by the person who wrote the post. Because again, the only reason that we're using LinkedIn is not to use LinkedIn. We're using it to connect with other people. And so, but when you do those comments, things like good work, this sounds great, etc., they're not gonna potentially really get you what you want. It takes a little bit more thought and effort, but writing a comment that is insightful or useful or meaningful is definitely going to be more memorable and potentially get a comment back from the person who originally posted. And so like I said, increasing the score is great for keeping you in their orbit, but it really works best when you post good content as well, because the higher your score is with them, the more likely they are to see you post. And that visibility can lead to strengthening your relationship with them and doing real life business together. So I highly suggest you consider it. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.